In the windswept cliffs of Ireland, legends whisper through the mist. Tales of people with piercing blue eyes and hair as dark as midnight. They are called the Black Irish, a phrase that sounds poetic, almost mystical. But behind its beauty lies a mystery that has haunted historians, scientists, and storytellers for centuries. Who were the Black Irish? Where did they come from? And what secret bloodline runs through their veins? Some say they were the lost descendants of Spanish sailors, men who washed up on Irish shores after the Great Spanish Armada sank in 1588. Others believe they were the remnants of an ancient Iberian tribe who crossed the seas thousands of years earlier. But some claim they were simply Irish, shaped by the storms, the soil, and the centuries. But the question remains, was the Black Irish identity born from truth or legend? Tonight, we dive into the heart of one of Ireland's most enduring mysteries, a story where history meets myth and bloodlines cross the oceans. Welcome back to Mystery in the Dark. Today we dive into the chilling story of the Black Irish. The term Black Irish first appeared in whispers, not in ancient chronicles but in more recent centuries. It was never an official term, nor a recorded race. It was a description, a feeling, a label for those whose appearance seemed different from the fair-skinned, red-haired image the world associated with Ireland. They had darker hair, sometimes olive-toned skin, and eyes so vivid they almost seemed unnatural in the Irish mist. To some, they looked Spanish, to others, Mediterranean, and to many, they were simply the mysterious Irish. But where did these darker traits come from? Was there really a lost Spanish bloodline flowing through Irish veins? To understand this mystery, we must go back. Centuries before the Spanish Armada, before the Vikings, before Ireland even had a name. Back to when myths were history, and history was legend. One of the oldest stories tells of the Milesians, a mythical people said to have come from Iberia, the land we now call Spain and Portugal. According to legend, they were the final race to settle Ireland, bringing with them new customs, language, and a spark of foreign beauty. The Milesians are often seen as the ancestors of the modern Irish, linking the Emerald Isle to the sun-soaked lands of the south. This idea that Ireland's dark-haired people were descended from Iberian settlers became a romantic explanation for the Black Irish. And like many great legends, it had just enough truth to survive through time, because centuries later, something would happen that made people wonder if the story was more than just a myth. The year was 1588. Spain's mighty King Philip II launched a colossal naval fleet, the Spanish Armada, to invade England and overthrow Queen Elizabeth I. It was one of the greatest maritime undertakings in history. 130 ships, 27,000 men, and the pride of an empire. The summer of 1588 was unlike any other in Europe. Across the vast Atlantic, 130 Spanish ships, bristling with cannons, soldiers, and ambition, sailed toward destiny. They were called La Armada Invencible, the Invincible Fleet. But destiny had other plans. Spain's King Philip II believed God himself wanted England to fall. The Armada would invade, dethrone Queen Elizabeth I, and return Catholic glory to Europe. Each ship gleamed with golden crosses, banners, and the pride of an empire that ruled the world. But soon, the ocean would swallow that pride whole. The Armada met the English fleet near the English Channel. But the English had smaller, faster ships, and the winds favored them. Night after night, the sky was lit with cannon fire, smoke, chaos, and prayers filled the air. After days of battle, the Spanish retreated north. They tried to circle around Scotland and Ireland to return home. But there, waiting for them, was a force more deadly than any cannon: the Atlantic itself. Ferocious storms tore through the fleet. Waves like mountains smashed wooden decks to splinters. Ship after ship was dashed against the jagged coasts of Ireland and Scotland. Thousands of men, soldiers, sailors, priests, vanished beneath the raging sea. But not all perished. A few, battered, broken, and half-dead, crawled onto Ireland's shores. They came from the sea, strangers with dark eyes and foreign tongues. And thus began the legend of the Black Irish. Local villagers were both terrified and fascinated. Some Spaniards were captured, others executed. But a few, legend says, were taken in by local families, hidden, healed, and eventually loved. It's said that these survivors married Irish women, their children inheriting dark hair, olive skin, and piercing eyes, traits that looked foreign among the fair Irish. And through generations, those features became stories. Stories became whispers, and whispers became the myth of the Black Irish. Historians, however, doubt this version. They argue that very few Spanish sailors actually survived. Most were captured by English forces in Ireland or executed upon arrival. Could a handful of men truly change the genetics of a nation? Perhaps not. Yet, there are places where this myth feels strangely alive. One such place lies on the Isle of Mull, off the west coast of Scotland, a land of ancient castles, clan wars, and one explosive secret. In September 1588, a Spanish galleon named San Juan de Sicilia sought refuge in Tobermory Bay, on the Isle of Mull. Aboard were 279 Spanish soldiers and 62 crew members, starving, desperate, and far from home. They struck a deal with a Scottish chieftain, Lachlan More MacLean, the 14th chief of Clan MacLean. In exchange for food and water, the Spaniards agreed to fight in MacLean's feuds against rival clans, especially the powerful MacDonalds. For over a month, Spanish troops fought alongside Scottish warriors in brutal island skirmishes, an alliance born of desperation and destined for tragedy. On November 5, 1588, the San Juan suddenly exploded in Tobermory Bay. The blast shook the island, killing nearly everyone aboard, including 5 Scottish hostages. Officially, it was blamed on a gunpowder accident, but rumors whispered otherwise. Some said the Scots betrayed the Spaniards. Others claimed the Spaniards had hidden gold and were murdered for it. For centuries, treasure hunters have searched the bay for the lost Spanish gold of Tobermory, but none have found it. Yet the most haunting part of the story isn't the treasure, it's the few who survived. For generations, locals spoke of dark-haired strangers who lived among the clans. Men who spoke no Gaelic, but whose children carried foreign features. Those whispers would echo across Ireland and Scotland alike, fueling the legend that Spanish blood had mingled with Celtic veins. But could these scattered survivors truly have left a lasting mark on the Irish population? To answer that, we must turn not to myth, but to science. To uncover the truth, scientists turn to DNA, The language of ancestry, the code of history written inside us. What they found would rewrite everything we thought we knew about the Black Irish. In the modern world, legends can be tested. Where stories once relied on word of mouth, science now speaks through genes. The question of the Black Irish isn't just history anymore. It's written deep within the cells of Ireland's people. Over the last few decades, scientists have studied DNA samples from across Ireland, from the green fields of Connacht to the coastal cliffs of Donegal. They searched for signs of Spanish ancestry, a genetic fingerprint from the sailors of 1588. But what they found was surprising. There was no strong trace of Spanish DNA in Ireland's gene pool. The supposed Mediterranean markers, dark hair, tanned skin, deep eyes, weren't from Spain at all. They were far older, reaching back thousands of years before the Armada ever sailed. The DNA revealed something astonishing, that Ireland's darker features came from ancient migrations long before Spain existed as a nation. Thousands of years ago, people from the Iberian Peninsula, modern Spain and Portugal, migrated north after the last ice age. They became the first settlers of Ireland. So in a twist of fate, the Irish and the Spanish were connected, but not by shipwrecked sailors, by shared ancient blood flowing through their ancestors thousands of years ago, a bond written in prehistoric memory. When scientists compared the DNA of people from Western Ireland to those from the Basque country in northern Spain, they found strong genetic similarities. It wasn't from the 1500s. It was from 6000 BC. This discovery reshaped everything. The myth of the Black Irish wasn't born from the shipwreck of 1588. It was a story written deep in human prehistory, a reminder that people and bloodlines have always crossed oceans, long before maps and borders. Yet, myths survive because they hold emotion. The story of the Black Irish still speaks to identity, to the mystery of who we are and where we truly come from. Science gives us the facts, but myths give us meaning. So perhaps the truth is not about bloodlines at all, but about the way history, tragedy, and love shape a people's soul. The Spanish may not have changed Ireland's DNA, but their story became part of Ireland's heart. And today, when someone in Ireland looks into the mirror and sees dark hair and deep eyes, they might remember a storm centuries ago and wonder if somewhere in their soul a whisper of Spain still lives. The Black Irish, a legend born of storm, forged by sea and kept alive by memory. Ireland has always been a land of stories. From ancient Celtic gods to ghostly legends whispered by firelight, its history is not just written in books, it's carried in hearts, songs, and bloodlines. And the legend of the Black Irish became one of those whispers, part truth, part myth, but all Irish. For centuries, when Irish people faced colonization, famine, and exile, the myth of Spanish blood carried a hidden pride, a feeling that their roots stretched beyond oppression, that they were connected to something noble, exotic, and powerful. During the 1800s, millions of Irish emigrated to America. In foreign lands, they were mocked for their pale skin and accent. But some claimed descent from the Black Irish, turning a myth into an armor of identity. To be Black Irish meant to be different, mysterious, resilient, carrying fire in the heart and shadow in the eyes. It was more than ancestry. It was attitude, a quiet defiance written into the soul of a people who refused to fade. Even today, you'll hear people in pubs, villages, and family gatherings say with a smile, "Ah, he's a bit of the Black Irish, that one." They may not know the history, but they feel the echo, the sense of mystery that ties the living to the forgotten. Perhaps that's the power of myth. It doesn't demand proof, it gives belonging. It doesn't need evidence, it needs emotion. And sometimes, what people believe becomes more powerful than what history proves. The Black Irish myth may not hold scientific truth, but it holds emotional truth. A bridge between Ireland's suffering and its pride, between the storms that tried to drown them and the stories that kept them alive. Because when you strip away facts and timelines, what remains is something far older than history. The human need to belong, to find meaning in the chaos of the past, and to whisper, "We come from something greater." So the next time someone speaks of the Black Irish, remember, it isn't just about Spain or storms or shipwrecks. It's about how a story survives, how it becomes part of who we are. The storm has long passed, but the whispers of the Black Irish still ride upon the wind. As the mist rolls once more over the Irish cliffs, the legend of the Black Irish remains, unsolved, untamed, unforgettable. Some say they were survivors of war. Others whisper of ancient bloodlines hidden deep within Ireland's soul. But one truth endures. History is never just written in books. It's written in blood, mystery, and the faces of people who still carry the past in their eyes. And maybe, the real mystery isn't about where they came from, but why they were forgotten. Because sometimes legends don't die. They just wait for someone brave enough to tell their story again. If you felt the shiver of history tonight, if the mystery of the Black Irish touched your curiosity, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mystery in the Dark, because here, every story hides a secret, and every secret waits for you.